per usual, this is Christopher Hobbsilla with the Swamp Report. We've had a lot of different things go on right now, with Gator Nation. It's that time of year, you got players going in and out of the transfer portal, things like that. And it's time that you guys can do a little Q&A and different things like that moving forward to everything we got going on. I was looking forward to some comments from you guys, and I can answer what you want to know about everything, but we'll go ahead and get started with everything going on. Jacoby Jackson has entered the transfer portal. A lot of you, know about that already, and he was a promising back. We don't know if this is, related to Jaden Ball. I don't know if his announcement is going to come today or not, but I'm here for it if it happens. We have a top 100 prospect that is staying at Florida, Drake Stubbs. We fought Miami pretty hard for that one. It's great that he will be staying at Florida. That's something that we can all be happy about because, it shows that the coach and the staff are doing things right because we got players staying. So that's actually positive news. And, Jontez Williams from Iowa State, he's the number one cornerback visiting UF on the 8th. He's a portal player. So excited about seeing if he's going to make it to Florida or not. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. We've got some 4-star and 5-star offensive line possibilities coming to Florida through the portal. And, it's really nice to see, Phil pulling these kind of people already because, the Florida Gators offensive line play last year definitely was not the best. There was times, a lot of people blamed it on the QB, and that wasn't always the case. The pocket would collapse pretty fast. So it's nice to know that we're finally getting some, good offensive linemen coming this way. And again, I'm here to, answer things. Like one of the interesting things I would like to talk to you guys and give you a chance to comment on while you're watching this live stream would be, Tramell Jones has been at Florida. He is, a lot of people said that he would be, the successor to DJ, and a lot of people wanted to see him play. And I, for one, love the fact that he is staying and announced that he stayed, and he is a true Florida Gator. I think that it was nice to snag him away from Florida State. And we got Aaron Philo coming from, Georgia Tech. And that is interesting. I mean, he's got like more interceptions than touchdowns so far for his career, but I guess Summerall and Faulkner see something in him, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Are they going to bring him in for more of a backup role, or are they going to want him to be the starting QB for the Florida Gators? Because Tramell Jones has been putting in a lot of work, and he has stayed there, with the team, and he deserves a chance to play. So I really want to see Tramell Jones right now. That's who I'm focused on. But at the end of the day, it's about winning games and seeing, who can actually be the best quarterback for the Florida Gators because, our quarterback play has not been the greatest. We won some games in 2024, but in 2025 we plummeted. And luckily, here we are in 2026. So that's pretty encouraging to move on to the next year. Like I said earlier, this is kind of a Q&A time. If you have any questions you'd like to drop in the comments, I'd be willing to answer those. So a big thing for Tramel Jones or Philo, whoever is the quarterback next season. Maybe we, shoot bigger and even get a bigger talent. I would like to see that from the Gators trying to, if we're going to, bring in a quarterback, we should bring in an experienced quarterback. That would be great. But at least we will have Dallas Wilson back. He, resigns. So, and yes, I'm reading the comment from Ryan, and it says that hopefully addressing Ball's concerns with O line play and is an indication he may stay, but who knows? Also, with that being said, you are seeing things like Jacoby Jackson, entering the portal, Trayon Webb's in the portal, So my thing about Jaden Ball, if he stays, is I think they're going to keep him as a workhorse, running back, and they probably promised him a billion carries. So if he is, truly staying at Florida, that might be why some of the, you know, Gator running backs are jumping into the portal. Kaheen Daniels, KD, he jumped in the portal and he's in the top 25 of transfers right now, and that's of all play. Well, actually, that was running backs, I believe, but still, that's out of the whole collegiate football, that's an achievement. So he was a good back. It's just with somebody like Jaden Ball on the team, it's hard to say. But with Phil bringing in these 5-star and 4-star offensive linemen, I think it's a really good thing that we're going to start seeing different things through the transfer portal. So, and yes, no running back from the portal is visiting as of now, but we all know that they have, a couple weeks to get that situated, the portal and everything like that. So I hate that we lost Aaron Gates to the portal. That's a bummer. I think he was a really good player until he got injured, So when he probably, basically wanted a little bit more money, and being the fact that he had got injured and didn't really have much, performance in 25, I think that made a difference in his decision. So, but as far as you know, Cormani McLean, at least we got him back. That's a good thing. Cormani McLean, he's fast as a cheetah. Just got to get him a little bit more honed in, and he's still kind of, I saw him get a little bit manhandled at times, over the years. So he's got to get a little bit stronger. But other than that, it looks like he'll be better. He's a young player, but he definitely has the speed to close in and break up passes and everything else. So, um, what's up, Charlie? How are you doing tonight, man? Ronnie, what's up, bro? Matt and George and Dan, what's up, guys? How are y'all doing? Drop a Gator if you hear me loud and clear. So, hoping everything is going good with you guys tonight. I'm excited about next year. I'm excited to see, now that Summerall playoff is over, I can take it more seriously, and I'm ready to see how this all plays out. I think he's a great, motivational coach. I'm just going to have to see how it translates to the field. He was no slouch with getting Tulane to the playoffs, so that's impressive. But I'm excited about the spring game coming up. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make this one this time. I don't always make it to the games through the season because I've got a lot going on with work and everything like that, and I appreciate that, Charlie. Thank you. But the spring game, it means something to me. Some of the players and things like that have voiced that they would like to see me there this season, so I would like to go meet up with them and get some pictures and meet up with some of you guys and just go from there. I'm excited about it. Yeah, Lo, what's up, bro? It's good to hear from you, man. And yeah, I agree, Ryan. It seems like, you know, um, Napier was Eeyore when it came to the portal compared to what John's doing. And really, Phil is bringing in a lot of these players. He's a recruiting beast. He's a Gator. He knows what it's like to wear the logo, and that means a lot, you know. So I don't think we have a date for the spring game just yet. It's always about the same time, though. But when that spring game does come, I think I'm going to be there. Like I said, I want to meet with some of these young players and, kind of tell them how much it means to me that they actually came to the University of Florida when they could have went anywhere else. And, we had a hard year last year, but we still, have kids coming, and it's not only that Gator head behind me that gets them coming. It's just a great institution academically, and the program itself is historically known for football, and it's just exciting to see. But as far as a date, I don't think they've released the date for the spring game yet. Um, but low back to Cormani, I'm excited about that. That's a big win right there. Um, Vernell Brown, that was great to get him back. Looks like we're going to have a good receiving core. And, you know, Aaron Philo, he's got a wide receiver from Georgia Tech that is coming to visit at the same time, and he's no slouch. So um, it's exciting times for the Gators. Our schedule looks a little easier for next year. So I'm excited about that. And there's just a lot to be, you know, to wait on. I'm still waiting on, to see what's going to happen with our running back, Jaden Ball. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. He's been the most dramatic, I would say, of the ones in the portal right now. I would like to see how this plays out because, you know, Texas unloaded the running back room there. We've unloaded the running back room here. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? I've seen, that he's commented on a few, Gator players that are returning. So I'm, excited to see how that plays out because I was expecting him to, already announce something today. And who knows, he may do it while I'm doing this. He may, not do it at all today, but I was looking forward to hearing something, positive about Jaden Ball because I know that John and, Faulkner are going to base this offense a lot around him. And it's going to be awesome to see because you get Jaden in there, you run him and run him and run him, and you break the defense down. And next thing you know, it's Tramel Jones to Dallas Wilson for 6. That's the kind of thing I'd love to see. So, how are you guys doing tonight, by the way? I see there's some of you in the comments, and I'm just wondering how you guys are doing or how you're feeling about next year's season. Are you excited about Coach Summerall, or are you not excited about Coach Summerall? I mean, I know I've said I have reservations about getting too excited, but I really think, with our schedule we've got, next season, that there's no way that we don't, perform better than what we did this year for his first season because, we played as badly as possible and we played with very limited, um, you know, um, just limited playbook. It was really, really bad. And yes, my fingers are crossed that Ball stays too, Low. I mean, I really am hoping he stays because if we lose him, that would not be good. Who do you really replace him with? That's a great running back. So what he did against Florida State, was really awesome to see. I mean, I would not have wanted to see him do that to anybody else. It was Florida State that deserved getting dragged all over. I mean, he was just destroying Florida State. What's up, Ryan? How you doing? Just wanted to say hey to you, bro, and I'm glad to hear that you're excited about the new coach. And yeah, cautiously optimistic. That's a great way of saying it, low. Um, that's pretty much how I feel about it right now. Because honestly, to me, I feel like the reason we got a bunch of the Georgia Tech coaches and things like that are not only because they're good coaches, but I just feel like the time period that it took, for the playoffs and things like that, that he didn't get to do the best coaching search in the world, that he just kind of went with some of the guys that were suggested and, he knew could work out and things like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's coaching changes or anything like that in year two. But I'm I'm rolling with it and trusting it. I hope it all. I don't want to use the words trusting the process. So I'm trusting it, and I'm going to see how it all plays out. Yeah, I agree with you, Charlie. Napier was not just only a statue, but he was just kind of really quiet about everything, and just reserved. And I don't know, his year three. I mean, I know I've talked about it a lot, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but he definitely checked out. He was doing that for the buyout, and but he never had fire. I love to see that John has a lot of fire, but I just hope it's not one of those cases where you're the loudest guy in the room and you're the first one to get knocked out kind of thing. So, what's up, Calvin? How you doing? Yes, excited to see Buster, man. Um, Buster really gives me a lot of faith in everything. I'm looking forward to seeing how Faulkner does at Florida. I think that if Jaden stays, we get the right offensive line. Bringing in a few key players from Georgia Tech cannot hurt. Key coaches, things like that. Um, but hopefully, we get some big name, players as well. Um, there's there's some out there for sure, and that's what I'm excited to see. And yeah, we don't need another Muschamp, someone that's just gonna, hype everybody up and just act, livid on the sidelines when things go wrong. But really, you're not backing it up with your game. You're just throwing tantrums on the sideline. I do believe in John. I think he has, what it takes to make a great coach. He's a young guy, and I'm excited to see how those kids react to him. So it's all exciting, to see moving forward. I'm just wanting to know what's going to go on with Jaden Ball. If while I'm doing this live, there's any updates, be sure to let us know because it would be really cool if Jaden, announced. But for some reason, I'm getting the feeling that he's waiting on something. He might have took a page out of Lane Kiffin's playbook. And Lane drug everything out so much. Speaking with Florida and LSU. And he saw what it did for his social media. I mean, guys, these people like Lane Kiffin and even someone like Jaden Ball, man, they can make a ton of money off of just social media alone, and a lot of people don't understand that. So when they drag this stuff out and make you wait, and the more you wait, and the more you look into it, um, they build their Instagram following, their Twitter following, their Facebook following, whatever they have, that goes and racks up, So, and the more times that they're mentioned online, it just increases their, engagement and different things like that. So, as far as, you know, um, Chris Mitchell's comment about can't wait to see a healthy Dallas Wilson this year. I agree 100%. That's one of my favorite Gators. And when you go back and watch the Texas game, man, when he was, he wasn't even fully healthy for that game. A lot of people don't understand that. He was already borderline surgery, but he wanted to beat Texas so bad that he went in there and he beat, he pretty much put us on his shoulders and definitely helped, to defeat Texas. And man, he was dragging those guys around like little boys. He was like a man out there, in comparison. So, and yet, Low, you're right. We already see him it with the portal, about Summerall. He's definitely, you know, geared to get some good guys coming. I'm ready to see how it's all going to play out, moving forward. And Charlie, yeah, I mean, Phil, he's our O line coach. He is he's an ex Gator himself. So that was one of the biggest things that we were missing. We had a terrible O line coach last year and the prior years. Um, I'm trying to catch all your comments coming through slow, and it's saying that all four teams have a very good offensive line that makes a huge difference. Miami, notably, out that they probably have one of the best offensive lines in the country because you know their coach was an offensive lineman, so that helps. And with Summerall, he was a defensive player. He played for Kentucky. So, I mean, I expect us to have a very salty defense. So, just excited moving forward. Like I'm saying, I just can't wait to get into um, next season and see how that all goes. So, um, sorry, I'm checking something here. Tomorrow at 7:30, we do have men's basketball. It will be Florida versus Missouri, and that's also something I want to touch on is that the Gators basketball team is starting to gel a little better, and I want to see if they can make it at least into the Sweet 16. That would be a good thing after winning a natty. But that's what we got to look forward to. The soonest is probably March Madness because um, football is pretty much down until August. I mean, there's all this fun stuff that we can talk about now, like the transfer portal and who's staying and who's leaving, and I want to see how these new recruits that we've got end up doing, and if they stick in February and things like that. And very excited to leave the 2025 season in the rear view. Yes, I agree with that, Lo. Um, that was a horrible season, from everything that happened, from watching DJ throw, 5 picks against LSU and just watching, Napier refuse to change the play calling. I mean, it was just all very, you know, hard to watch. It was, I mean, I've really haven't ever done this as a Gator fan, but there was times that I actually left the room that I could not watch it. So it just got really, really bad. So, but hopefully, we get some more positive updates moving forward. Still waiting to see, like I said, what Jaden Ball does. That's really our main, focus right now is locking him in because that could possibly turn the team, into maybe more people wanting to leave if he leaves, because then DJ's left, Baugh has left. It gets ugly after that. You gotta keep those guys. So but I mean, we do have some good things, some positive things. Like I said, Hilton Drake Stubbs, he's a top 100 prospect. So the fact that he stayed, that definitely helps. So yeah, man, I did the same thing a few times. Low, I turned the TV off. Can't remember exactly which game it was. It might have been that LSU game. I think after the third or fourth pick, I was over it. So it was hard to watch. And I really don't blame that solely on DJ. I blame a lot of it on Muschamp and his bad play calling. So in the comments, who specifically on next season's schedule, who would you really want the win over? Because I know who I would really like to see us win, but I'm just curious, who some of you guys would like to see the Gators beat next season. I mean, of course, you want to beat everybody, but who's somebody that you would just really, you know, have to beat to show that, hey, we're doing something. I know we got to beat our rivals and things like that. And that always is a good indicator of the coach, Um, if he can get in there and beat the rivals, you got Miami, which they're not on the schedule next year, but you got Miami, Florida State, and Georgia, teams like that, that exactly, that people could just not, or not people, but Billy just could not beat. Like, yeah, he beat Florida State and stuff, but we're getting it. Here it comes. That's what I wanted to see. Georgia, exactly. We need to beat Georgia, and it looks like they're finally falling off a little bit. Even though I just predicted last night that it would be, Georgia or Indiana that wins the championship. Hey, I still got Indiana in there, so there's a chance that Indiana can do it. But they're a very impressive team, and Indiana shows you exactly what having a great coach can do. He's taken 3 and 4 star talent and just making them play all like 5 stars. I mean, they absolutely just creamed Alabama, and it was cool to watch because it's Alabama, and we've all had to hear the roll tide, roll tide, roll tide. So it was just nice to watch them fall flat on their face. That was really cool to me. And here's an interesting side story. Last night I went into Vifo Brady's and was going to catch the Georgia game, Georgia versus Ole Miss, and the I didn't realize it until I started to walk to the bathroom that I had my Gator jersey on, so that was definitely an awkward moment. I took my jacket off, had the Gator jersey on, didn't even realize that I was in a room full of Bulldogs. It was some awkward stares for sure, but people nowadays, they can't talk unless it's behind a keyboard. So anyway, um, yeah, anybody but Miami. Yeah, anybody but Miami. I feel the same way about that. My son, his grandfather, was huge into Miami, and he pulls for Miami during this time because he recently lost his grandfather, and he wants him to, win it for. He wants Miami to move on and win it, for his grandfather, and I just try to tell him, I'm like, man, you don't understand what that'll do to our Gators, though. If Miami wins a championship, that puts us behind years. If they win a championship, suddenly they're the main focal point in Florida. Not that they're kind of not now, but we definitely don't need them going out and winning playoff game after playoff game after playoff game and then a championship. So Signetti is a beast. I agree with that. Um, he's worth every penny they're paying him, and that guy he's a different breed. Like, um, he just sleeps, eats, and breathes football, and he takes it to a new level. When the way he talks, I can't repeat some of the things he says here, but he's a monster. I mean, I would not be, I wish we could have got Signetti, but I knew he wasn't going to leave his, what he had going on. Plus, they went ahead and locked him down with the money and everything like that. So, but yeah, Georgia's the team we've got to beat to, show some progress next year. I mean, really, just winning, 6 games shows progress, but I just don't want that to happen. We've really got to come out and, actually win some games and be competitive in every game. So, because the Gator standard has to come back. We can't just keep, being the team that wants to win 10 games and things like that. We have to move on and start, playing for. We've got to get into the playoffs first, and we've never been in the playoffs. That's sad. We're a BCS era team, So we've really got to step up our game there. But other than that, guys, I was hoping to have, some really good information on your favorite running back, Jaden Ball. I was hoping I was going to be able to bring something, to you guys, but I just wanted to, you know, talk to you guys about what's going on right now with the schedule. We should win at least 8. Um, sorry. Um, the schedule, I see that you said we should win at least 8. I don't know yet. I want to see how this all, plays out and everything, uh, with everything. Um, because if it does, play out, um, a certain way, we may not win 8 games. I just don't want to see like us losing a lot of players, to the portal, because if we do, that could be completely devastating. If we lost somebody like Jaden Ball in a time like this, we don't want to. We just can't do that. So I really see next season us just running ball. That has to be, the equation that wins games, because we didn't do it enough. You know, yeah, yeah, yeah. Pending everything clicks would have been key there, Low. If we can get if everything goes well, we can get, the 8 wins. So also, I wanted to give a shout out to the Mobile Strength Company. If you are looking for, to set a New Year's resolution, he has been training my son. He plays for Mosley football. He is getting strength gains. Everybody's talking about his size gains and everything like that. The kid is just putting on some serious weight, and he's getting really strong. Check out Mobile Strength Company. The owner is Timothy O'Connor. He is one of my sponsors, and he is really great about being a personal trainer. So if you need someone to train you, and if you're just trying to maybe get your kid to excel at, whatever sport he plays, if you want him to, be faster or twitchier or whatever you need, Tim O'Connor from Mobile Sports Co. He is the Mobile Strength Co. He is definitely the guy to get up with about that. And just reach out to me in my DMs. I can give you his contact if you're just looking to lose some weight because it's New Year's resolution and you're just trying to get your beach bod. You can definitely do that as well. And also, Lowe says that Faulkner would be crazy not to run the ball if he stays. And yeah, you're right. He would be crazy. So hopefully he does stay. We just got to see, man. I don't have any insides on it. I spoke about it a little bit, and I'm going to tell the full story about everything that, went on with me and Baugh later. But right now, I just can't go into it until he, decides if he's going to stay at Florida or if he's going to leave, which he's really like not given any indication that he'll be leaving. He is one of the players that, we have over 22 players, or right around 22 players in the portal, but he is not in the portal. So with that being said, I mean, maybe fans are, paranoid and fabricating a lot of stuff. And, I mean, you had Texas come out and say, oh, we're locking in Jaden Ball, but that could have just been some insider, with a rumor, and Ball's not really going anywhere because there's really been no indication that he's going anywhere. So um, it's always great, to be a Florida Gator. Um, I don't care if we lose games. I'm still happy as a Florida Gator, and I can't be more excited about, next season with a new coach. No more Billy Napier. I got tired of all his excuses and press conferences and things like that, and just his attitude, like that's not the kind of coach we need. We need a coach that's going to fire the kids up and get them ready to play. And that's who we've got now, as long as he can coach like we need him to coach in the SEC, because going from the G5 to the SEC is not easy. The only person I have successfully seen do it as a Florida Gator coach is Urban Meyer. So um, he's the only one that has came from a low tier school like Utah or something like that, Utah State, which I can't even remember at the moment, but he has been able to thrive at Florida, and then he went on to have his Ohio State, and the rest was history. But I had to give a shout out to Mobile Strength Co. because, like I said, they do sponsor. Um, but as far as Jaden Ball, it seems like it's still a mystery. I'm not worried about it too much. I've spoken with some people that are close to the situation, and they say he's a Gator. So I don't think we've got much to worry about, honestly, with Jaden Ball. I know it's not what you guys wanted to hear, that he has resigned or anything like that, but like I said, I've got some people close to the situation that have said he's a Gator. So I'm not going to stress over it too much. But it is what it is at the end of the day. He's a running back. If we lose Jaden Ball, there will be someone that can plug and play. They might not have the grit, but if you do not love the Florida Gators, you got to go. We need the players here that are ready to go win a national championship and at least get in the playoffs. So the goal is to see John beat all the rivals. The first season would be great, get in there and beat everybody that we just hate. So, exactly, Low. Yeah, I mean, he really hasn't came out and said anything about, like there's been no indication that he's leaving. And the interactions that I've had with people that are close to him give me no reason that he is leaving. Like, I mean, I've literally talked to people that are very close to him, and to be honest, they acted a little offended and mad that anyone would even say that he might transfer. So he might just be that much of a Gator, and his family might be that much of a Gator that they don't even like these transfer rumors around. But I mean, it's just today's football. People see, things like, all these players hopping in the portal, and it also gets some clicks and get some monetary, monetization and things like that. So they appreciate that. So they're cool with spreading rumors at the risk of not telling the truth about a situation. So it's how it works, man. It's a tricky thing now, but I really believe what like Lowe just said. Exactly. Texas rumors started it. I mean, and I agree with that. Um, they did start this with the coach Jaluk going over there. Yeah, it's crazy that as soon as Texas got Jaluk, everybody thought, oh yeah, he's going to follow his running back coach. I'm not saying that's not possible, but I just with him not being in the portal right now, I don't see it happening. So um, also with speaking to people close, to the situation, that it just doesn't seem that he's going to leave. If he leaves, it's going to be surprising, but it's not going to be the end of the world. It's a running back. It's not the same as losing a major quarterback that was super successful. They've just got to run straight and run over people, and it's not something that can't be replaced. And I have faith that this coaching staff and the everyone that we have around the program right now could actually have no problems, getting someone like a Jaden Ball. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Jaden Ball. He's a great player, but there's definitely there's definitely players out there that could actually play that position and it wouldn't be a huge effect like losing a Heisman quarterback or something like that. And that's not me implying that DJ was a Heisman quarterback. Is that his ceiling? Yes. But did he perform like that? No. So um, it's just part of the the today's football. It's a lot like the NFL. You see, instead of players coming back, we should say it like it is. They're re-signing and things like that. So you know, with them re-signing, it's basically just NFL contracts. And um, someone mentioned to me earlier online, basically said, that college football is dead. And they were not saying that you could not watch the sport anymore. They were just saying that the old college football that we knew and loved has died because now it's just an NFL format. It really is. I won't be surprised to see the tush push making its way into college football, you know, things like that. Sorry, excuse me. But it's just it's a different time period now, So um, and I did just read Lowe said DJ is going to ball out next year, no matter where he goes. I'm stamping it, and you know what, Lowe, I'm going to stamp my approval on it too because DJ is going to ball out next year, no matter where he goes. Here's the thing, though. He can go to LSU. Okay, they are a rival. I don't like that, but like you said about the playoffs, there's one place I'm not going to support. Two places I will not support DJ. And when I say support DJ, I don't mean that I'm not going to, that I'm going to be ugly towards him or, anything like that online or, say hateful things. I just mean that I could roll with watching a few. I know this is going to sound bad. I could watch some LSU football games with DJ at the helm and Lane Kiffin at the coach. I've always liked Lane Kiffin, okay? But if he goes to Miami, like I'm hearing there's a possibility that that could happen, which that could all be fabricated. If he goes to Miami, DJ, I'm just telling you right now, I'm shutting my TV off to you. I'm not going to watch you. I'll support it and hope you do well, but I will not watch any games. I would love to watch some Lagway, but I'm just not doing it there, and I'm not doing it for Florida State. He can't go to either of those two teams. I think he ends up at LSU. It's a good possibility. I don't know if you guys saw, but Austin Simmons, former Florida Gator commit, did transfer out of Ole Miss today, but that don't really mean anything. He could be in and up anywhere. I mean, there's a good chance it would be, LS. There's a good chance that Austin Simmons could be heading to LSU. I mean, that would make sense, but maybe he's wanting to go somewhere else. I mean, maybe he's had enough time, enough of the lame Kiffin experience. And, but yeah, if he goes to Miami, I'm not going to say those words on Facebook that you said, Lo. But yeah, I feel the same way. I'm going to have to write him off, bro. He may go there. I don't know. We'll have to see because he does want proper development. And some people have rumored Baylor, but I really think he's too big for Baylor. I don't see that happening, but unless his pops wants that to happen. But I know their family and their family wants DJ to make his own decisions because I'm sure at the end of the day, DJ's dad's like I am, and he probably just wouldn't want to make a decision that changed his son's life. At that age, it's just you kind of got to stay out of that kind of stuff. We all learned enough from Jaden Rashada's dad, and Austin Simmons' dad, kind of the one that pulled him, away from Florida. Wouldn't that be interesting if somehow, Austin Simmons came to Florida? I would like to see that. So, but again, it's about loyalty for me. I'm a very loyal person, and I would love to see Trammell get his dues. We all wanted to see what Trammell could do when he was sitting behind DJ, And apparently there wasn't a ton of separation between the two. And I've noticed Trammell does have a little better footwork. I don't know if maybe DJ's injuries gimped him up as why his footwork wasn't the best, but Trammell does have really good footwork, and so does Aaron Philo. I mean, his footwork looks really great, but it's just the fact that you know, it's the fact that Trammell has stuck it out in the orange and blue as a Florida Gator, re-signed with us and everything like that. That I want to be, him. I want to see him get the start. Like, yes, I want there to be a competition, but I want Philo on the backup. If he's a backup, he should be the backup. I don't want Faulkner coming in, giving any kind of like, oh, we're boys, kind of thing, and then just playing him because Trammell has sat back enough. He went to, he could be starting at Florida State right now, but he chose to come be a Florida Gator. So there needs to be, something said about that. I mean, the only way that I would be against Trammell getting his chance would be as if we brought in some, 5-star portal quarterback that's just killing it, somewhere else, experienced and everything like that. Then I could be like, okay, well, I understand maybe Trammell will get his chance as a backup quarterback, you know. But yeah, I hope he gets to play a good bit too low, and I hope we don't lose him because he's not a quarterback you want to lose. I've watched him, a lot of his tape from high school, and I've watched him, play for Florida, against LIU and things like that, and he is a good quarterback. He just needs, a team that believes in him and will start him, So I think that he could be, a great quarterback from us. And we don't really need to waste a lot of money in the portal on a quarterback, honestly, unless, because we got to get that O line straightened out. And there's defensive players that have left that we need to, get fixed there too. And, Trammell Jones, he's waited his time. He's a sophomore now, I mean, um, with him being a sophomore, that's plenty of time for him to step in. There's been sophomore Heisman winning quarterbacks, so hopefully that kid can get out there and do his thing if he can understand Faulkner's offense. I mean, that's where Philo gets the nod from everybody is that he knows Buster's offense. That gives him a little bit of a head start for sure, but sometimes talent beats that kind of stuff out. You just got to put them in the position to learn it. You can't just be like, okay, well, he came from Georgia Tech. I came from Georgia Tech. This is our system. He's going to run it. You got to have a good competition and make sure that Trammell has a chance to learn your system. So I'm trying to understand that. Let me see. Low, you said same thing I said about DJ. Hate to be going against him. Um, Not 100% getting that one because there's just not enough context for me to understand it. But unless you're just saying that you hate to see us playing against DJ, I'm not sure. But if you want to leave another comment, that might clear it up. But yeah, Florida, it's going to be an interesting thing. I know I speak to different people and you get different reactions. Some people think that John Summerall is just, not the guy. I know that's too regarding losing Trammell. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to lose him. I mean, we just can't lose him because, I mean, like I said, he's got a lot of talent and he loves Florida. I mean, he committed to us. He, re-signed and everything. We got to give the kid a chance. But all I want is a fair quarterback competition. At the end of the day, I want a fair quarterback competition. I want because it don't seem like Napier really truly did a fair competition. I think he just rode with DJ because of DJ's accolades and everything like that. He just thought there's no way this kid can't do it. But hey, man, when you're only giving the kid 11 different plays, it's not too hard for the DBs to sit back and figure it out. They're like, oh, okay, he's going there. And apparently, a lot of people were, reading his eyes. He did kind of lock on to his first read a lot of times. So he was struggling a lot last year, but he was going through a lot too. I mean, I've talked about it on here. I don't know how many of you have heard it, but I was told directly that he did have some surgeries, and they keep that, quiet, very quiet. I don't know if it's, for upcoming draft stock or whatever it may be, but they don't talk about it a whole lot. But, there were surgeries that went on with DJ as far as my knowledge, because like I said, the people that told me were, really close to the situation with him. And they told me he had surgeries. And for him not to practice all, for him not to practice all, summer and everything like that, and the spring didn't happen, he was just injured, man. We should have started Trammell. I probably wouldn't have agreed with you, Lo, before the season started last year, but now looking back at it, yeah, he totally should have redshirted. We should have let Trammell do his thing, but we both know what that opens the door to. If you redshirt DJ, Trammell has a great year, or even close to the year DJ had when we went 8-5. There's a chance that DJ might lose his spot, and then DJ transfers. So it was a no-win situation, honestly. And he ended up transferring anyway. So it's but that was probably the most logical thing. But I think DJ's just such a competitor that he really wanted to start those games and get us some wins, get us into the W column. And he tried. And as you watch the season, he progressively got more mobile and things like that. It was hard to watch, seeing it. But I think that's why, Phil came and we're so dedicated to getting this offensive line right. Because for one, if we had a better offensive line, he would have never got injured with the hamstring injury back at Georgia, So that might have, stopped the calf string injury from happening later on, in practice. Because you get one injury, it's easy to get another injury, especially if it's in the same limb. So I can speak on injuries because I've definitely had my share. So, but Jacoby Jackson, losing him, that one was tough for me because he's a he come from JUCO, and he was right up the road from me, just a few hours, and he was a really good player, and I would have liked to have seen him make it. I would have liked to have seen him on the roster, but honestly, seeing him leave kind of says to me, seeing KD leave, seeing Jackson leave, and now Webb leave. I mean, it just, to me, that screams Jaden Ball is staying, and they're going to bring in maybe one or two low cost running backs, and use what little bit we have left there, to do something. But it's definitely not ideal, but I really think it's because Jaden's staying. But, we'll have to see how this all pans out. We'll find out more. Apparently, today is not going to be the day. Or maybe they're going to wait until I finish this. Maybe it happens tonight. There's no telling. But I'm starting to wonder what's taking so long. I mean, the only thing I could come up with is he's kind of getting a little chuckle out of all of us talking about him so much. We were talking about Jaden Ball so much that it's crazy, and the more we talk about him, the more it raises everything, draft stock, his social media, not being rude, but Jaden Ball doesn't have a big social media following if you haven't looked, and I'm sure the numbers are going up now, that everybody's wondering and watching. So, like compared to somebody like Lagway, Lagway had a huge following. So it's giving him a chance to get his numbers up and, you know, things like that. And you guys might not think that means much to these kids, but it really does. They're able to monetize their accounts, and they're able to make a lot more money than just money off of football and NIL deals and things like that, because the key to becoming a millionaire is to having at least 7 streams of income. So you don't want to just be having your football money, which they're going to become millionaires anyway if they're good enough. But that revenue streaming and things like that makes them some money as well. So a lot of these football players, they're just, I hate to say they're doing it for clout, but they're definitely doing it to get their numbers up and things like that. So um, just look out for Jaden Ball to give us an announcement. It should come anytime within the next few days. I expect it could, if it's a transfer, it'll probably be ESPN that releases it, because I feel like they would be the only ones that would, they're probably going to buy that story. But I don't think the man transfers. I think we can look for the Hayes Fawcett graphic, that he's returning. And you watch out for that Hayes Fawcett graphic, because if that Hayes Fawcett graphic drops and we actually keep Jaden Ball, Gator Nation's going to go crazy, as it should, and things will be popping. I mean, having Baugh come back and getting these coaches that we're getting, coming in, we're in way better hands than we were with Billy Napier. So everybody can rejoice and calm down a little bit. I know I've been a little bit upset, about a few things, but guys, you gotta realize I watched Lagway, you know, at Willis and things like that. I got close to his family. I mean, I honestly was hurt by him leaving. And hey, Jihad, what's up, man? Go Gators! And it really, it definitely hurts to see, you know, one of your favorite players, leave, and someone you're close to leave like that. But whatever it was, I mean, I hate it. It seems like it was more of a system fit than, because DJ told everybody that he wanted to be a Gator. So, but we're not going to make this the DJ Lagway show. Things have gone. He's came and gone now. But we're definitely going to, close out the Swamp Report with positive things. Hopefully Jaden Ball jumps on, and lets us know something soon. I've spoke to a few people, but they're locking it up airtight, for him. So I'm not getting anything on that situation. We're just going to all have to wait and see. Like I said, I think it's going to be down to Hayes Fawcett being the true one that has it. But back, real quick recap before I go. Jacoby Jackson entering portal. Drake Stubbs, top 100 prospect. He will be staying. Jontez Williams, Ohio State, #1 cornerback, visiting UF on the 8th. He's a portal player, so be excited about that. Aaron Philo versus Tramel Jones. That's going to be key to watch. I'm interested. Will Jaden Ball stay? There's 22 portals players right now for Florida, at least, but not him. So that's big. Dallas Wilson has resigned. BB3 has resigned. It's looking good. We've got what we need. The Gators are looking good. Also, it was a bummer to lose Aaron Gates, but he's a little banged up. Cormani McLean is staying, so we get to keep the 22-mile-per-hour cheetah. That man can run. Get that man some money. And I just want to tell you guys, as always, go Gators. Let's see that chomp, baby. Go Gators. 2026, the Florida Gators are coming in hard. Go Gators.